Our planet, a masterpiece of harmony and balance. Our majestic natural capital. Our legacy and responsibility. However, all this stands at the precipice of irreversible change.
Good morning. Thank you, Abigail, Safe, for your partnership and for all you do on behalf of our energy security. And thank you to everyone who participated in our mining and supply chain dialogues last year. I see a lot of you here today, including our friends at OEP. You know the saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. Congratulations to Robbie and Safe on your 20th anniversary. Your tree is becoming a forest. Earthshot started here in DC, 2008. Our work is literally about planting trees and protecting our natural capital. That includes our human capital. We award 2 new Masters in Forestry scholarships this year, and this morning we plant another tree. Metaphorically, the 2025 GridIron. A continuation of our series on intelligent and responsible mining. We began there so we could be here. Before we can fix our grid, we have to secure the resources and supplies to do so. What was so obvious and urgent 20 years ago is a real emergency today. I think we can all agree with the executive order declaring a national energy emergency. And the part that said, without action, the grid will rapidly deteriorate under the weight of modern demand. So let's be clear. Serving new load growth is no longer just another challenge. It's a national and economic security imperative and our yardstick to measure our progress against it. New loads are coming fast. Are we ready? The GridIron holds that bridging the gaps between knowing and doing and succeeding begins by upgrading how we talk about the grid. We're guided by dialogue and debate, informed by competence. Ours is a whole-of-grid framework, anchored in systems thinking, not silos. The common link, mitigating, eliminating, and reliably pricing risk into future grid design. And we begin with first principles. The grid exists first to keep the lights on, but a truer grid has a larger purpose, to serve our economic productivity and competitiveness. Its better, smarter design is rooted in problem solving, logic, ones, zeros, and resilient systems. That's how we bridge real differences, both ideological and institutional, and we have a unifying thesis. Future-proofing a world-class grid. It's time for everyone with standing and praxis to huddle up, be in the game, and act. Let's pretend we have 2 teams. One team is named Smart Grid, the other, Dumb Energy. Which of those teams do we want to be and bet on? Which one dominates? Maybe you have another idea. We don't write the script of the GridIron. You and hundreds of discussants will do that this year. Let me offer another metaphor to personalize this for everyone. Think of the grid as your body, getting a physical. You're backed up and constipated, chronically undernourished, sluggish, and given to fainting spells. The exam results came back last week. The Society of Civil Engineers gives you and your grid's health a D+. This is everyone's problem. The grid reflects our national well-being because a kilowatt hour today is indistinguishable from horsepower, mechanical work, and labor. The grid as a body is the national body. Megawatts are brain power. It's how fast and well we, our data centers, and AI think. It's working capital. Let me say that again. The grid is our capital, put to work by us for us. It expresses our nation's strength or weakness. It's the operating system of the United States, the platform upon which all other operating systems and all else relies. It's on us to make it reliable and to secure the resources that secure our supply chains, that secure our grid and our future. So let's get up from our chairs and out of the stands, onto the field, into the scrum, and have fun. The art, the science, and the sport of dialogue is alive and well because we choose it. Now, with a closer look at the 2025 GridIron, please welcome Earthshot Senior Fellow and Chief Economist, the brilliant and unreasonably stylish Mariko Geronimo. Thank you. Dialogue is alive and well.
Please welcome Senior Fellow and Chief Economist of Earthshot Foundation, Mariko Geronimo Aydin.
And thank you, Chase, for your thought leadership and guidance. I'm very honored to be here today. The grid is our nation's capital at work at a nearly incomprehensible scale. The grid is complicated. It's a system of systems, and we manage that complexity through natural functional silos. We have systems of fuels that supply generators, a bulk grid that delivers power to local utilities, a distributed grid that brings that power to customers, and customers who manage their own facilities and bills. We plan, we build, we operate, we think within these areas, even today, with how much the grid has changed. Now, a set of disruptors presents to us business and operating risks that traverse those functional divides. Storms, wildfires, customer self-supply, renewable energy, highly modular, configurable grid resources, new demands and new demand flexibilities. We need a new way of thinking that recognizes these risks as cross-cutting and how our siloed decisions affect each other. Now, I'll show you some data and leave you with questions. Nothing complicated. This is a bird's eye view of the industry, EIA data, nationwide, all customers. These data are historical, no projections, no speculation about which technology will dominate and when. On the left, we have total terawatt hours of retail sales. This is what utilities see. You heard from Chase and others in this summit about the potential for this demand to take off. Whether that demand is realized and whether it's served by utilities or served by customers delivering to themselves remains to be seen. The middle graph, average cost per kilowatt hour to customers. This was flat for many years and now lately has been increasing by a lot. And then on the right, a measure of reliability. Average hours interrupted per customer per year. And this includes all types of days. Major event days, non-major event days, and this is increasing. Now, as you look at these graphs, I'll ask you a question. Does this look like energy abundance? I'll bet the middle graph is bugging some of you. Is that inflation? That looks like inflation. Inflation is certainly a factor, but it's not the only factor. For many of these years, the average cost of electricity was decreasing in real terms. This is not a metric that's necessarily in lockstep with inflation. It doesn't have to be. So, is it the utility death spiral? Have you heard of that? As customers increasingly self-supply, the denominator shrinks and this metric increases. Yeah, there's a little bit of utility death spiral in here. For some utilities, much more than others, but that's not the whole story either. Wires, it must be wires. Transmission access charges, distribution investments. Our nation's wires are aging, right? So maybe we're investing in them so they can withstand extreme weather, interconnect new resources. No, this isn't just about wires. This siloed thinking is missing the point. The grid is one big system, and we forget that. Those functional areas are more interdependent than ever. The bigger question is, how does all this translate for customers? Residents, businesses, industry. Do you think anyone in their right mind who sees a product that's getting more expensive, decreasing in quality, and they know they have other options, whether that's behavioral changes, self-supply, or other substitutes, would go and try and increase their demand for the grid? As customers look to the grid to turn their capital into work for the economy, what happens when costs increase and reliability decreases? Is it all it could be? We need a new kind of conversation, deeper cross-functional dialogue that looks the complexity of the grid in the eye. In the Earthshot Foundation's GridIron Dialogue series, we'll challenge ourselves to think bigger, and we'll go from rivals in gridlock to champions of a stronger, smarter grid. Thank you. And shout out to one of our incredible partners, Our Energy Policy. To learn more about the GridIron, talk to Jordan Crow if he's here. Thank you very much. Thank you and happy anniversary, SAFE.